Assembly Member Whittle. His question is on knife crime.
Thank you, Chair. Tackling violence is my number one priority. Enforcement, including intelligence-led stop and search, is absolutely an essential tool in doing this. Since I became Mayor, all frontline Met Police officers are now equipped with body-worn video, which is a game changer for increasing police accountability and helping to gather better evidence for swifter justice. But I don't accept that by itself, stop and search is the most effective means of addressing knife crime. Enforcement by itself will never solve knife crime. We also need to focus on prevention. That's why I created the Violence Reduction Unit, which uses a public health approach to tackle the causes of violence. I've also invested £45 million in the Young Londoners Fund, ensuring there's a wide range of activities for young people to help them be diverted away from crime. And my Knife Crime Community Seed Fund has supported 44 grassroots community groups involved in protecting young people and ridding our communities of violence. I've always supported intelligence-led stop and search. It's a vital tool for the police, and I support its use when it's fair and proportionate. Having listened to Londoners, young people and communities, I'm absolutely clear that it must be carried out with respect, based on real intelligence, and of course, police officers must feel confident using their powers where appropriate. Since the City Hall-funded Violent Crime Task Force was launched in April last year, the command has carried out 8,452 weapon sweeps, recovered over 1,800 offensive weapons, including knives and guns, and arrested 4,937 suspects. Over the same period, wider activity targeting violence has seen 47,000 weapon sweeps, which have recovered 5,500 weapons. Tackling violence is a complex matter, and stop and search is just one part of our response. We must never be complacent, but our efforts are showing some success already, with the number of victims of knife crime aged under 25 down by 20% over the last year, and homicides down by 30%.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, I think we'd all agree we would like to live in a world without stop and search. I think everyone would agree on that, but there's no question about it. My question is based on the statistic that there's been a 20% drop in injuries to young people under 25 since stop and search has been increased. So it works. You mentioned there the public health way they do it in Scotland. Stop and search was a crucial part, actually, of that. And in fact, stop and search increased when that policy was rolled out in Scotland. When the Scottish Parliament then legislated to stop and search or reduce it or make it harder, then knife crime started to go up. It's a fact of life. It does work. What I would say to you, Mr. Mayor, is that when you were standing for Mayor, I remember you said you would do everything in your power to stop and search. That sent out a kind of message, right? And I think these things take quite a while to kind of trickle down. People might have thought, well, it's much easier. What I'm asking you, therefore, is can you not get completely vocally behind the increase in stop and search? Because although we know it's happened, I haven't heard that much from you. Can you do that? And also, can you resist as well possibly some disruption that might come, like we saw possibly in Westfield last week, where there was a disturbance which might have been brought about by the use of stop and search? This is what I'm asking you to do, to show leadership, because the fact is people feel that there is a void.
Chair, there's a number of questions I've been asked. Let me try and deal with each one of them. I'll try and be quick, so give me time.
I have little time, so...
So you're out of time?
That's why I'm asking them anyway.
So I've seen no evidence that stop and search is the sole reason why crime goes down, number one. Number two...
I didn't say that.
Well, you did.
No.
It's part of a package of measures which need to be taken to address the issue of crime. Enforcement is very important.
Mr. Mayor, it's been drastically increased in London, and we have seen, therefore, a 20% drop in knife injuries to young people under 25.
The Home Office, under a Conservative and Lib Dem government, carried out research. The last time there was industrial indiscriminate use of stop and search at the levels we saw in previous years, which showed no link between industrial scale stop and search and a reduction in crime. Point number one. Point number two, the reduction of industrial scale stop and search began when Boris Johnson was the Mayor and Theresa May was the Prime Minister, and I support them in relation to not using industrial scale indiscriminate stop and search. There was an 80% reduction when Boris Johnson was the Mayor and Theresa May was Prime Minister. What I do support is the importance of stop and search being used in an intelligence-led manner.
Yes, but everyone agrees with that, Mr. Mayor. I don't think you'll find anyone disagreeing with intelligence-led stop and search. as opposed to maybe what went on before.
Well, I think you will. I think you will. You should listen to Boris Johnson.
But the fact is, if you say there is no link between industrial stop and search and a decrease, why in that case has there been a huge increase in Section 60s? Quite rightly.
Let me explain. Yes. Let me explain. So the most common use of Section 60 is after a knife attack in an area, often
Yes.
where the police are worried about tit-for-tat reprisals.
Yes.
And what we've seen in London is a very good use of Section 60 to make sure that we don't have an escalation of knife crime in particular areas. And if you analyse where the Section 60 searches are taking place, they're in areas where the police know there are high incidents of violent crime taking place, and it's been used in a tactical and strategic manner. So what you're seeing with the police now is using both the PACE stop and search, but also the Section 60 stop and search in a good manner. But the context is we've got 3,500 fewer police officers, so not unreasonably there are less stop and searches.
Yeah, okay. You're out of